Horror and suspense act as a catharsis for readers, allowing us the opportunity to vicariously work through those things that terrify us. When authors know how to effectively use horror, they not only help us come to grips with that fear, they captivate our imaginations, and nobody does that quite like this month's author. Hi, I'm your host, Garrett K. Jones, and on the June edition of Author Awareness, I'm interviewing Ashley Greathouse, a graphic designer and author of the book Lily. Hey, happy Saturday everybody. Yes, I've gone bald. I decided to embrace my inner Charles Xavier after last week's episode. Or was it my inner Lex Luthor? Anyway, I hope you're having a great weekend and a great start to your summer. So far, mine has been busy, but it's been a very good busy. In fact, I've been so busy, I haven't even given much thought to giving you guys an editing update on Book 5, so let me take time to do that now. I'm currently working through line edits on Chapter 12. I always print up my chapters two-sided and double-spaced. This chapter came out to 48 pages and over 13,000 words. Edits are all about carving out unnecessary words, phrases, and sections, while also tightening the story to make it flow as best as possible. Now, if you're a writer currently working through the editing process, you have my sympathies, because it can be a really drawn out process sometimes. Now, if you need any assistance with this, check out the What is Editing playlist right up here. I have it linked up here in the card and down in the video description. Before going any further with the video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications on new videos. You can select notifications for all videos, or you can select notifications based on your preferences. If you're watching on your phone, be sure to update those settings inside the app itself to get the most out of your viewing experience. I'm still looking for new subscribers to my YouTube channel. As an incentive, I'm giving away an autographed poster. This autographed poster, in fact, of point. When I hit 200 YouTube subscribers, I'll announce a winner. Now, if you want to sign up for that giveaway, there is a link in the video description. It's also free to sign up, so don't worry about having to pay anything. Hey Ashley, thanks for joining me. Tell me about yourself and your work.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it a bunch. I'm going to be awkward this whole entire time. It's just kind of who I am as a person. But I am excited to be interviewed. So to answer your question, I write horror. Yeah. Psychological horror, mainly. So if you're looking for just the strict, blood, guts, massacre the entire time, I might let you down with some of my work that's out there. Because I really like to focus on just the twisted head games that our own mind likes to play. But I do love me some monsters, supernatural beings. I don't know, it's just where my heart lies, you know? Now, I guess one could kind of put me in the thriller category, and I'm not mad about that. That's okay. I am totally fine with that. But as for my work, I have Stories Told, which is getting ready to release its second edition. I am so pumped for that. I also have The Shatten, Lily. It hatched on Easter. If you're up for an Easter horror story, it's a short one. But TW, if you catch my drift. It's a short one though. And then also I have my short story was featured in an anthology done by the Authors Table that just released, and we're still so excited about it. released on the author's table's 2nd birthday, so happy birthday, Tat. Yeah. Other than that, I'm a one-trick pony, I suppose, as far as the writing ventures go.
So how did you get into writing? Was this something that you've always wanted to do, or was this a talent that you recently discovered?
It was something that I've always wanted to do, but I did not envision myself to be a scary storyteller. I pretty much blame my dad, not for the twist of genre that I took myself in, but just for writing in general. He introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons when I was really young, and I loved it, everything about it. Plus I got to sit there and my dad was a dungeon master, still is a dungeon master, so I got to watch him create this world, this fantastical world. And I really wanted to mimic that level of creativity. I mean, also, and not have the repercussions of players destroying the world that I just created. You know, so you kind of become an author, so you don't have to worry about that. You're in charge all the time, and there's no dice roll that will mess that up for you, or what you've worked hard to create. I'm sorry, I have destroyed a lot of Dungeons and Dragons games. I really, after this, should probably call my friends and apologize. I'm a chaotic character, what can I say? But no, it was him. As far as what got me into horror, that's a whole other ball game. But I've always wanted to tell stories. I used to sit around with my friends and tell ghost stories, which should have been an inkling of what was going to happen to me, but it really wasn't at the time. From there, I moved on to really bad teenage poetry. I still have some of them, and they are horrible. Yeah, I wrote a couple of songs. Do not look into those, but I did do that. Yep, I've always loved writing. I'm going to leave it at that.
What are some of your inspirations as a writer?
And here I said what made me choose horror was a whole different ballgame, and then you ask this question. So, horror I didn't pick it. I didn't choose what genre I wanted to write about. It definitely chose me. I sat down one day, and I have sat down so many times before to write a story, and it just, I don't know, my heart wasn't in it, I suppose. So I sat down and I had a basis of a storyline picked out. My first story that I completed finally was Locked Away, which is in Stories Told. But what I had envisioned for that story was not horror at all. It was supposed to be this epic little fantasy adventure, which is what I wanted to write about. And then there was just death. Like, man, I don't know what happened. Just people started dying. But initially I thought, I really need to make this story connect with me. So I used my own insecurities, fears, joy. I used just myself, basically, as a foundation for my story, and I built off of that. Definitely fabricated a lot of things, obviously. Like, if I had magical powers, you all would know it. I would be like Fireball all the time. Would I be a villain, though? I'm not really sure. But that's what inspired me and what got me to complete and finish a story, was my own issues, I suppose, both good and bad. And it pushed me, and I finished it, and it was therapeutic in so many different ways. So with each story that I sit down and write, it's all based off of me, which is what a lot of authors do. I mean, it's not like I unlocked a secret or anything of that nature, but that is my muse. Anytime that I am down in the dumps, or anytime that I'm super excited about something, my emotions are my muse. I kind of just write through it, whatever it is.
What has been the hardest part or the biggest challenge in the creation of your work?
myself, I suppose. You're always going to be either your biggest supporter or your biggest reason why you failed. And that's just something that I firmly believe in. So having that type of self-awareness about what I'm going through, if I've hit a writer's block, it's myself that's doing it to me. If I just don't have the energy to sit down and write, that's myself that's doing it to me. I am the biggest issue in my writing. But I'm also, the biggest cheerleader in my writing. I understand that I'm going to make mistakes. Not every story I write is going to be the one. It's going to take a lot of stories before I get the one. But just pushing and driving myself to get better, to be better. I know that I will never be the best, and I don't want to be the best. I just want to be better than the girl that first started when she was 30 years old. Talk about a midlife crisis. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn it into like just a ranting self-help session. But that's how I feel. I do. I feel like we are ourselves. We are the biggest challenge in our writing. Everything else is easy. We just make it complicated, I suppose. I have fun with all the other aspects. Yeah, well, and this just boils back down to myself. It's me that's doing it, but I hate editing so much. I don't mind it if it's someone else's work, but sitting back down and rereading something that I have wrote, that is torture to me. But again, that's my own issues reflecting on the outside. So it's me. It's always me.
If you could give any advice to other would-be authors out there, what would you say to them?
Aside from the pep talk I just gave, I mean, don't second guess yourself so much. That you are going to be the biggest thing that stops you in writing. Don't second guess yourself. If that character needs to die, by golly gee willikers, you need to kill them. Then that character is now dead, R.I.P. You will push through it. Whatever world you think that you can't imagine and you can't write down on paper, just remember your readers have an imagination of their own. So you don't have to sit down and come up with every single tiny detail that we authors love to torture ourselves about. Just leave some things open to the imagination. If you're stumped with your work, keep going, keep pushing on. Start a new project. Build a puzzle. I'm not really sure. What works for me may not work for you, and advice is something that I don't generally try to push out there unless I think that it's actually going to be helpful to people. I feel like a lot of advice that is out there can be harming when it can make you second guess yourself. So that is my one thing that I try to push super hard. Don't second guess yourself. Everybody is different. If we were all the same, this would be a very boring world, and literature would be dead. And we don't want that. We want literature to live on forever. So we need you. So if you would be an author, please do that. Please be the author that you are stopping yourself from being. I need to read your book, basically is what I'm saying. I'm a procrastinator, and you need to help me have reasons to procrastinate. So you're doing me a solid, and I would appreciate that.
A big thank you goes out to Ashley Greathouse for her participation in this author awareness interview. And if you're interested in following her on social media, all of those connections are linked down below. If you want to get a copy of her books, you can find them on Kindle, paperback, and audiobook on Amazon. I already have my copy downloaded on Audible, and it is awesome. Lily is a supremely entrancing and definitely interesting book. Hey, you made it all the way to the end, and usually when it comes to horror, that's usually a pretty good thing. So please, make sure to like and share this video because that is how this channel is going to grow its viewership. Remember to sign up as a channel supporter by heading over to patreon.com/GKJ Publishing, where you'll have access to 4 support tiers of $1, $3, $5, and $20. Each tier comes with access to my bloopers reel, sweet tier level perks, and special promotions. Connect with me on Instagram and Twitter at GKJ_publishing. When you hit up the merch store, you can easily rep an item by posting a pic to social media of you wearing or holding it and tagging me with the hashtag 5Kingdoms merch. I'd love to feature your pics in a future video. That's it for me. I will see you guys next week for Creators Corner, where I will be discussing blending genres. Thanks for watching. The vlog of the 5 Kingdoms is filmed without the use of a live audience at Skyrocket Studios in Hanford, California. We can't do what we do without your help, so please make sure to subscribe by clicking the button that's above my head, and make sure to watch and share the videos over here to my left. Have a great week.